Hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can we all take the seats to start our session? It's an honor to welcome you all to this highly anticipated panel discussion on industry perspective on real estate. This panel discussion will provide us with the valuable insights from the leading voice of the industry, which will help us to navigate the challenges and the opportunities lying ahead in the sector. So to set the stage, let me introduce our esteemed panelists and will felicitate them. First of all, Mr. Ashok Saraf. Ashok Saraf is the founder of Sugam Homes, one of the West Bengal's leading real estate developers. Being in the real estate development business for more than 36 years, he had a track record of constructing over 150 buildings comprised of about 3,000 apartments, including iconic ones like Sugam Park and the Sugam Serenity. He has built a strong reputation for excellence in MIG housing sector. Besides, he is a vice president of Credai Bengal and director at Dot and Key Wellness Private Limited. His leadership and strategic vision continue to shape the West Bengal's real estate entrepreneurial landscape. So let's welcome Mr. Ashok Saraf, and I would like to call CA Kasi Khandelwal ji to felicitate sir. Going ahead in the second, Mr. Vivek Kajaria. Mr. Vivek Kajaria is the managing director of Super Diamond Nirman Private Limited under the brand name of Diamond Group and has developed over 60 lakh square feet area till now. With wide experience in commercial as well as residential projects, a few notable examples of his constructions are Diamond Heritage, a 4 lakh square foot commercial building and is the first heritage redevelopment project in the Kolkata. And second is Diamond Plaza, a 3.5 lakh square feet neighborhood mall near Kolkata's airport. He is also part of consortium that developed a 61-story residential building called The 42, the tallest tower in the eastern India. Currently, he has started a new vertical being development of grade A warehouses. They have made 3,50,000 square feet warehouse near Kolkata and rented to Flipkart. So I would like to call CA Jitendra Lohia to felicitate Mr. Vivek Kajaria. Mr. Jitendra Lohia. Okay, so can I call Anup Luaruka to felicitate Jitendra Vivek Kajaria? Now our third panelist is CA Apurva Salarpuria. Mr. Apurva Salarpuria is a chartered accountant by qualification and started his career with Assurance Division of KPMG in Bangalore. In 2005, he joined the Salarpuria Group as Executive Director. Apart from the residential real estate, the group is one of the largest developer of IT parks. The group's IT park house some of the world's top IT companies, including Microsoft, Hewlett Packard, Motorola, TCS, Infosys, Siemens, Cisco, Oracle, and many more. Apurva also created the hospitality vertical of the group and set up the Novotel Hotel and Residences, which is a 340-room hotel in Newtown, Kolkata. Also a partner in JW Marriott Hotel, Kolkata. He is also currently Senior Vice President of Credai Bengal. He has also been a chairman and has been chair for ICC National Committee on Tourism and a member of Managing Committee of the Hotel and Restaurant Association of East India. He has initiated substantial investment in the consumer brand, including successful ones like Bira Beer, Epigamia Greek Yogurt, Paperboard Drinks, Design Cafe, Vadam Teas, and many more. He is also one of the founding partners in exciting new experimental commerce venture called Broadway. I would like to call CA Bharat Bhatt to felicitate Salarpuria ji. Now it's time to introduce the moderator of the session who will steer the whole panel discussion, Mr. Parvez Khalid. Mr. Parvez Khalid is the Associate Executive Director and Kolkata Office Head at CBRE South Asia, where he drives business growth in the real estate consultancy across Eastern India and Bangladesh. His expertise spans office leasing, logistics, retail, and corporate advisory, managing high profile clients like Unilever, PwC, and HSBC. Parvez leadership extends to overseeing multidisciplinary services such as project management and investment services. Previously, as Eastern Region Head at ICICI Bank, he executed critical projects across East India. A graduate of Calcutta University, Parvez is a respected figure in corporate real estate and continues to influence the industry development in the region. I would like to call Ayush Jain to felicitate Mr. Parvez Khalid. Sir. Now the stage is set, so I would like to hand over the session to the moderator, Mr. Parvez Khalid, to take over from here. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you, ACA, for inviting me to be part of this session. We are from the real estate industry, and I think the chartered accountants are a very, very integral part of the industry. With the compliances going up, I mean, I don't think we can do without you. It's a good thing because, as Mr. Mota also mentioned, that with the RERA coming in and the industry getting regulated, the confidence of the buyer is going up. So, again, your role in that is of paramount importance, I think. So, on the real estate industry, the topic is that we just want to discuss about perspective on real estate industry, how it is performing pan-India, and also touch upon how what is happening in West Bengal. And we have very esteemed panelists who are experts in their own fields, and I'm sure we'll have a good knowledge sharing session. So just to give you an update on the market activity in terms of real estate pan-India, this year has been one of the best years for commercial real estate. I'll start with office leasing, commercial estate. So the highest record post-COVID in 2019 was around 65 million square feet of leasing, which happened pan-India. This year, we are nearly crossed 60 million, and by March 31st, we are confident of crossing 70 million square feet, which is the highest ever leasing of office in India. Retail has been still subdued, again because of limited supply which has come in. Only I think 0.5 million supply has come in pan-India. However, the leasing activity has really gone up because after COVID, you all know there was a big slump in the retail segment. However, in the last, if you look at the 9 months in this year, from Jan to September, only 2.5 lakh square feet has been leased out. So there is a recovery going on in the retail sector as well. On the logistics sector, I think that has been growing. Even during COVID, that was the one sector which still grew. And also with the introduction of GST, I think with the consolidation of warehousing, their hubs and into a single location state-wise, this has given a big boost to the warehousing and industrial logistics sector. If you look at the numbers, this has been record year in terms of leasing. This is 19 million square feet leased out only in the first half, which is itself a record in the leasing of warehousing industry, if you look at it. And now, of course, the most important, the residential, which still continues to contribute the maximum amount of revenue to the real estate industry. The housing has seen a tremendous growth in the last 2 years and still growing. And of course, there was some pent-up demand because nobody was buying during the 2021s because of uncertainty due to pandemic. But now it is on a growth trajectory which we have never seen in the real estate industry. Even if you look at the last 9 months, we have some 120,000 units being sold. And by the end of this year, because again, a lot of activity happens in the Feb-March period, we think it should cross 3 lakh units in a year, which is again a record in its own in the housing sector. Also, very interestingly, the demand for luxury housing has gone up from 6% last year. It has gone to 9% this year, which itself is as Mr. Mota said, the wealth is here. So we can see the wealth coming out and people investing more in luxury housing, improving their lifestyles. So this is just a gist of what is happening pan-India. I'll open the session for my panelists, and I'll start with Mr. Sharaf, please. So we know that economic cycles, affect real estate. Ups and downs, like the 2008 happened. However, we see the robust demand, as I spoke, there's a demand which is going up in India. In India, has not been affected with so many of geopolitical tensions and, weakening economies in Europe and even US, Canada. But India continues on the trajectory path. So what do you think, what are the factors why it is doing so?
So India is an oasis of peace. We are seeing that we have a stable leadership, which is in the third term, in the center as well as the state. So the first requirement of any development is having a stable leadership. So we are having that. And we are having the good policies, the reforms. Like we had the RERA, GST, demonetization. So all that has contributed to the economy. And slowly we are seeing the economy it's going from unorganized to organized. So that is contributing to the revenues. We are seeing that the GST revenues in the last couple of years, they have just shot up. And so these are some of the main factors which are contributing to the economy. And we are having good growth in the GCCs, in the real estate sector, as well as the new sectors like your data centers are coming up. So all these are contributing to the growth in the economy, and which is directly affecting the real estate sector.
Okay. Mr. Salapri, would you like to touch on that? Your comments on how the economy is growing and the real estate in part of it.
No, absolutely.
India not being affected by international pressure.
I think, Mr. Saraf has spoken about a few things, and I think I can't emphasize enough the role of the reforms, specifically RERA, which has kind of allowed us to take advantage of the other tailwinds which have come in. And I think, like Mr. Saraf said, I think we have a geopolitically stable country. Although we've had some challenges in our neighborhood, we've had one important thing which has happened in the last few years is the average per capita income has moved beyond a $2,500 level, and globally that is recognized as a point where consumption starts to go up. And I think we've hit that in the last few years. We've had the advantage or the tailwinds which are coming from reforms, and like I said, we are poised for a period of long growth. We will, of course, it's an industry which goes through cycles, so we will go through our cycles, but I think we are at the cusp of a long period of growth in our country.
Just to add, because we do a lot of office leasing, and what we have seen that earlier when in the early 2000s, we were more dependent on inquiries or leasing from foreign companies. So a lot of inquiries to come from your US office, from a UK office, even from Hong Kong and China. But last 2-3 years, what we have seen that Indian corporates are taking up big spaces. So that is also one of the reasons why we are not being affected by global downturns. So coming to Mr. Kajaria. So we saw that there was a huge slump in the pandemic, and somewhere still affecting the commercial market. So what has happened? But in the last 1 year or 2 years, we have seen that again the industry bounced back and with a vengeance. Like last year also, it had not touched those magic figure of 65 million square feet, but this year we see it surpassing this. So what do you think are the factors why the commercial real estate has jumped up due to the even after the pandemic? Because the challenge is that a lot of people are still working from home and that has not been implemented totally. That you have to come to office.
Work from home is largely over, but in certain sectors, yes, it is still there. Maybe in the IT sector it's there, but otherwise it's largely gone over. So now people are saying that instead of sitting in cramped offices, they want to sit in slightly larger offices and maybe move to the outskirts of the city where the real estate is less expensive. So instead of being in the city center, people are now doing that. So larger offices are there and companies are doing well. The profitability is going up, and as chartered accountants, I'm sure you all see the balance sheets and understand. So when companies are doing well, everyone wants to move up in life. So I guess that's the reason why commercial real estate is going up.
I'll just add a couple of things to this. I think, the commercial space, we used to think of it as one sector. Today, it has evolved into multiple subsectors, and we can touch upon some reasons in each of these sectors for the growth. Data centers, for example, as you know, is something we keep hearing about and keep talking about. One of the big reasons for the growth of data centers is actually geopolitics, where countries are now saying that we want our data to be in our country. So earlier, a lot of these servers, data centers for American companies used to be in the US, for European companies used to be in Europe. But now each country, including ours, is saying data security is paramount. Meta, Facebook, well, all of you guys, your Indian data needs to be in India. So this is a big tailwind which is, contributing to the growth of data centers, for example, in our country. Similarly, another piece which is within the commercial space, which is evolved as a important sector, is flexible office spaces or managed office spaces. We had, started with this concept of co-working, which was catering to people who were largely freelancers or small, MSMEs. I think now that space has further evolved into what we call managed offices, where large corporates, including in our fraternity, the Big Four, or in, large, software companies from across the globe are saying that if I want to enter a new city, I don't want to get into the hassle of even managing the pantry or looking for getting the interiors done, managing, the small day-to-day pieces of, my people should just be able to come into work and everything else can be taken care by the provider of these services. So managed offices has become a big piece, and flexible offices alongside that, saying today I am taking up 5,000 seats, but I want the option to expand to another 10,000 in the next 6 months. And the way these managed offices and flexible office spaces companies are operating is allowing companies to provide this. So this makes decision making much faster. Instead of waiting to have the next 500 people or 1,000 people, you're saying, okay, I will move to this large location with this number, and then when the next set of people join, we will take the next set of seats. So the overall commercial space has evolved into multiple subsectors. We spoke about a couple of these, and each one has a different set of tailwinds which is helping in the path of growth. But of course, the underlying piece is that we are one of the fastest growing large economies in the country. And if the economy grows, the demand for office space will grow. That is the underlying truth. And on the tailwinds of that, these subsectors are having multiple sub-tailwinds within them.
Yes, please.
So another big factor which is aiding the commercial office space are the Global Capability Centers, or GCCs. Now we have about 1,800 of them in India. And earlier, they used to, the Indian IT companies, they used to be employed for the manpower cost. But now these GCCs are coming for the talent, like the educational talent that we have in India. So I think they have increased by 50% in the last 4 years, and expected to increase by another 50% in the next 4-5 years. So this is driving the office market also to a large extent, because these companies are taking up big office spaces, and they are from Europe, from America, and some of the biggest corporates in the world. They are taking up these office spaces. So this is also a major reason for the commercial office space booming in India.
So just to add to that, I have a figure here. So the GCCs account for nearly 35% of the entire office take-up this year, which is a huge percentage, being dominated by GCCs. And as you correctly said, they take up large centers. I mean, 1,000 seater, I think, is the minimum that they start up with. Again, direct this question to Mr. Salapuria. You see, with all the industries, growing and evolving, real estate is also adapting prop tech and AI in a very major way. So how do you see this going forward also?
Ultimately, the industry is catering to its customers. Today, our customers, for example, if I look at the housing market, our home buyers are much younger than they used to be. Earlier we used to typically look at late 30s to early 40s, who used to be the average age profile. Today that number has actually come to late 20s and even mid 20s in certain cities. And this generation is used to a lot more technology for everything that they engage in, whether it is in their business, whether it is in their day-to-day life. And as a result, we have as an industry have to respond to that. So today, whether it's a buying experience, how you are visualizing the project, how you are communicating to the customer, the entire communication has moved, digital. Hardly we see newspaper ads. Earlier, every day or at second day, a front page used to be a launch of a real estate project. Today, it is far and few in between, because digital has become the primary medium. Not to say that physical medium has gone away, but the primary medium has become digital for us. And similarly, even for the customer to engage in post sales, they no longer want us to send them letters and things like that. It's moved entirely digital. The entire experience from pre-sales to post-sales, and even handover in that sense. And as a result of this, we need help from various companies who come with cutting-edge technology, giving a better experience to the customer, or simplifying the process, cutting down costs, various angles. And all of this put together, across selling, across construction, across, leasing, etc., is what we call prop tech. Because sometimes, this jargon can become just,
Exactly.
it becomes just jargon and meaningless. But the reality is that we are adapting to what our customers want. And there are companies which are coming in the market, helping us and enabling us to do this. So definitely, more and more, prop tech companies are coming in. And our industry has been slow to digitalize. We are literally a brick and mortar industry, like we say. And we have been slow, but I must say that now we are rapidly catching up. And the industry, not only in this sales cycle, but even in construction technology, even in accounting, auditing, all of these aspects, more and more technology is getting involved, and only going to increase further.
So Mr. Kajeri, on the warehousing front, you have done a lot of warehousing. Can you give any example where you have used some prop tech? Because warehousing is usually situated outside the city, is difficult to access. So
No, I would say that that the companies whom we are catering to, like Flipkart or Amazon, most of the warehouses demand is there today from e-commerce companies and from others. Over there, they are saying that we have to make it that in later they will maybe like to use robots and replace humans. Like the facility we made for Flipkart, their grocery division, it employs 3,500 people today. So, but in construction, we do not use so much of technology, the type you are saying, but our clients, they are using a lot more.
Mr. Sharaf, on the residential side, how are you using prop tech? Are you using it for marketing? Because now, as Mr. Salapuria said, there's a lot of use of prop tech or technology in marketing, especially AI.
So we are using a lot of the apps for the sales, And actually, AI is, is much more integrated into our lives than we might not be even aware. Like for example, when we are on Google or others, they are sending us the ads which are relevant to us because they are doing that through AI. For example, we are using in the legal also. Because if you want to draft a legal document and you put it on AI, on Chat GTP, and you will get the draft. So that is an example, and then you have to improve on it. So it's touching our lives much more than most of us realize.
So, so let's touch something on West Bengal. We see that again, there's a lot of development happening in West Bengal also. The government is trying to do its best. It has its limitations, but I see that the real estate fraternity has grown, and the amount of units which are getting sold is phenomenal. In fact, I think it could compete with any good other cities like Mumbai or Delhi in terms of quality, in terms of supply, in terms of sales as well. So what do you think is the factors, in West Bengal, or what we can do better, so that we can improve this industry in terms of residential, if you can put your views?
So, there are various factors, because I was reading an article and they are referring to West Bengal Calcutta as a sleeping dormant giant for real estate. So, and since we do not have many players from outside the state, so the organized players in the state, they are doing very well. So there are several reasons. RERA, it was earlier avatar was Hira. So the developers are getting organized. Like, the top, say 10 developers, you will find that hardly any instance of any customer complaint is there. Even if it is there, it is settled amicably. And in fact, in Credai, we have a forum to settle any dispute which comes. We have a code of conduct which the developers follow. And it is about your own way you deal with your customer. Like the customer is a king, and you have to make sure that the customer is satisfied. I'm happy to say that quite a few of the organizers today, they have bought apartments from us also, as well as from other developers. So probably they will be able to give you a better idea of the way we deal with the customers now. So, and we have a stable government which is here. And so the other cities we are seeing, they are facing saturation. Like I think Mr. Sararpuri will be able to say better. Like Bangalore, we are having so many problems of the traffic and the water shortage, etc. And in Calcutta, we have good power supply, water supply. We have good manpower. Then we have good educational institutions. So I personally feel that Calcutta has everything going for it for a vibrant real estate sector.
I think Mr. Saraf has made some very relevant points. I just want to add from a perspective of Credai, and as Credai, we get the opportunity to engage with the government, on a very frequent basis. I must share with you, and we can keep talking about various challenges that we have. ULC, of course, if it was not there or there was a solution, it would have been an easier market to operate. But I can tell you, having kind of at least worked with government on real estate in 3 to 4 states, that as the real estate body, as Credai, as the real estate fraternity, we have the years of the government in Bengal. As much as we have it in Bengal, we don't have it anywhere else. Probably because there are many other industry sectors also which are taking it up. We have, even right now, there are some very significant policies which, we have proposed to the government, which they have actually, taken up and are in various stages of discussion within the government, including various stages of approval. And I must also say that, our bureaucracy here is very vibrant. So the kind of things we are able to communicate and move through the government here it, sometimes the grass always looks greener on the other side. So we see the development happening in other cities and we don't appreciate. We have our own challenges. There is no denying that. But the fact is that today we are able to get the years of the government and move through a lot of reforms which we are not able to do at this pace. So we are very hopeful that in the next few months and next couple of quarters, we will start seeing the results of last few months of lobbying and various representations which we have given to the government. All in all, with the overall growth, we are very, very bullish on the thing. The other piece which I'll just add is the housing demand is ultimately a derivative of the industrial growth, because that's what creates employment and ultimately housing demand comes in. One big piece of that, because it generates white collar jobs, is the IT industry. And the demand for commercial office space, including IT and non-IT, which is organized office space in the last year, we get different numbers, that there is a little challenge with data in our industry. So we get various versions of numbers, but I can tell you with much confidence that it has more than doubled in the last 2 years, the demand for office space. This augments very well for us. 2-3 areas of office which the real estate industry is not directly participating in, but which is bringing in a lot of jobs and growth into our country is, there is a financial hub in Newtown, which was spoken about many years ago, and then a lot of us have forgotten. But now we are beginning to see the Bandhan Bank office is fully under construction, going to open in the next maybe year or two. We can see the HDFC office, I think, ready for inauguration, about to be opened. So there are a number of large offices, and I'm talking about offices in the region of 4 to 10 lakh square feet, which will have between 4 to 10,000 people each coming into this. And so we are looking at literally a couple of 100,000 jobs getting created there. Similarly, the Silicon Valley, which again, the government has not opened both of these to the developer community. They are giving it to the end users, and Silicon Valley is already seeing data centers starting to be developed. We are seeing a lot of the IT companies who have bought land there. Infosys has already started its center in a small way, will ramp up in the next. So there is a lot of this which unfortunately does not get as much attention. We sometimes dwell on the other sides of things, but with this, we are seeing, for example, on the hotel side of our business, lot of demand which is getting generated. This 2024, has been the best year in our 10 years of operating the hotel in Newtown, for example. Next year, we are budgeting for higher than this year. So we are, overall, I think there is a period of growth that we are in, and we should look at the glass half full and look at how we can participate in this growth.
Absolutely well spoken, Purva. And also, the hospitality industry, if you look at the big brands, I think it is very, very underrepresented. West Bengal is still very underrepresented. There's a huge scope for all these brands to still come in, and with the density of population that is there, I think all of them should do well. Coming to Mr. Kajari on the warehousing front, West Bengal has been, just to correct, the leasing for warehousing pan-India has been 27 million square feet, not 19 million square feet till now. Out of that, 5 million is in Calcutta, which I think one of the biggest in terms of percentage of all the real estate happening. So what do you think are the factors why West Bengal is so popular with the logistics players?
Till now, warehousing was very much, West Bengal was very much neglected for warehousing. And West Bengal also happens to be the largest state or consumption place in eastern India. So from West Bengal, it feeds largely to northeast, though Guwahati now a lot of warehousing is coming up there. But West Bengal had largely godowns, not warehouses. Now people have started to move, and all clients, everybody wants grade A warehouses. So when they have started making this switch, they see there's a huge consumption for this reason. And obviously there is a lot of growth, economic growth over here, and people's spending power, purchasing power has increased, which has largely led to e-commerce companies, and everybody now has an Amazon or a Flipkart packet being delivered to their place regularly. So the change, and with smartphones, housewives and everybody, children, all are ordering. So e-commerce is increasing day to day. become a daily part of our lives and which leads higher growth for warehousing.
So just again to Apurva, I'll ask this question. With e-commerce going up, do you see a challenge in the brick and mortar retail? And
See, brick and mortar retail is not just a means of commerce, it is also a means of entertainment, experience, etc. So, I don't think we are looking, it's not a binary situation whether this exists or that, but the reality is that the physical retail world needs to evolve in response to various things which have come in. Today, people have various alternate means of entertainment. For example, OTTs have taken up a lot of space which the multiplex used to take, and that used to be one big driver to malls. The departmental stores, which used to be, what we used to call as anchor tenants, the other big drivers of the mall. From a pure transaction point of view, they used to offer a large variety of goods, which is now available on the e-commerce side in a larger variety because there is no inventory cost, etc., which requires to be maintained at each site, centralization. So there is, there are various things which are happening. One of the things which you see as a trend, we are seeing the emergence of entertainment centers within the malls come up in a big way, what are known as FECs or family entertainment centers. This includes, gaming, things like bowling alleys, trampoline parks and the like, and these have become big drivers to get people into the malls. Somewhere, what role a multiplex used to play in the past, I think FECs are taking up in a big way. Similarly, other parts of retail, also will have to respond to take care of the needs of the current consumer, which is experience as well as commerce. And, I think something which we are doing along with, in fact, Anarok, one of the real estate consultants, is a partner with us on that, and with the Biani family and another, we have 4 partners where we've started something called Broadway, which is a retail piece which brings together entertainment, experiences and commerce. But I'm just giving that as an example. There will be many people who will take this space, which is being, left open from retailers who have not evolved to the current customer needs.
absolutely, totally agree, because even if you look at the Phoenix Mall, which is coming up here. Yes, please, sir.
So there's another significant development is the 10-minute delivery. So people are anticipating that this might affect the neighborhood kirana stores, because people are just sitting in their homes and ordering. And we are seeing that the number of dark stores is increasing exponentially. So from a 3-player, now we have already gone to 6 players in the field. So the jury is still out on how much the 10-minute delivery will affect the neighborhood stores.
Absolutely agree. Just adding to Apurva's point on entertainment zones, if you look at the Phoenix Mall, which is coming up here in Alipur, it's a 1 million square feet mall, and 24% of the space is purely for entertainment zone, which is a huge chunk. 2.5 lakh square feet is actually the size of a mall in Eastern India. They have dedicated that much space only for entertainment zone. So I think with this, I think we have covered most of the parameters of real estate, India, West Bengal. Any question, I'll open it to the audience. If you have any question in mind, anything you want to understand from the panelists, please. Yes.
Okay, very good morning, and my name is Vinay. I'm from South India, Bengaluru. I'm one of the speaker. One of the challenges the West Bengal is always encounter is the Urban Ceiling Act. I hope that is also which is still the industry is fighting with the government to take out that. And in most of the states this has been repealed, and so the industry has flourished a lot. But here, which adding the burden to the industry in terms of the compliance, in terms of the structuring, in terms of making the large projects or the bigger projects more vibrant and viable. I just wanted to hear from the leaders because they're veterans in this industry, and if this doesn't address this, I'm sure that there is a lot of challenges in the future. Thank you.
I think this is something which is a little bit of an irritant in the industry because it adds to our compliance requirement, our thing. At the same time, it brings us closer to the advisor fraternity because there is more work to do with each other. So, but the reality is that it adds a cost component and it adds a level of work which is otherwise not required. So definitely we would love for some solution on this. The government of West Bengal has in fact in the budget this time put out a note saying that there is some likelihood to move towards some solution to this. I'm not sure what exactly the solution will be, but the sense that we get is that there will be some mechanism where this requirement of maintaining so many companies can possibly go down. But like I said, see, very honestly, it's an irritant, it adds to the cost, but it is not something, I'm saying that if we remove this, will I be doing 5 more projects? No, because I can do those projects today also. It is definitely something which is not value add, but so we hope that there is a solution sooner rather than later. But it is also something which maybe gives us a little bit of an edge as local developers versus people coming from the outside. So like I said, we look at the positive in every situation. That's the way we like to work, and we take advantage of this in the right way. Yeah.
So I can add a few words to the situation. We could call it a toothless tiger actually.
So redevelopment is something that we are seeing is happening now in many properties. In Dalhousie area, we have seen commercial coming up and also some residentials. So what is the overall scope of, say, redevelopment in our city with respect to all these specific sectors? That is just I wanted to know. Anyone can.
So you made a very good point actually. We were discussing yesterday with somebody. So actually, as far as I'm aware, there is no redevelopment policy as such. There is a policy, there is a section in the KMC Act where you can rehabilitate the tenants and get an extra area for older buildings. But I think one of the laws which is very much required, like we have this slum rehabilitation policy in, say, Mumbai, for instance. So I think Calcutta, also being a very old city, also requires such a law. So right now we are not having a law. So what is happening is like a private deals between the developers and the occupants. So if we have such a law, I think it will help it because a lot of buildings are getting very old. So it is very much required actually.
Absolutely correct. I mean, if you look at Calcutta, is as old as Mumbai, and Mumbai has this law. And I think it's one of the oldest cities in India. I mean, if you look at the British came here and how it developed. In fact, India started developing from Calcutta onwards. So this law is actually very much required. If you look at maximum of the buildings, if you look at the Dalhousie area, is only failing because of the quality of the buildings. There's no fire norm, there's no parking, so these buildings need to be redeveloped. Maybe keeping the heritage intact, maybe the elevation and all could be kept intact, but redevelopment is the call of the hour. And I think, as Mr. Sharaf rightly said, we do need a law for redevelopment.
Well, in Dalhousie, we have redeveloped one building. Earlier, it was known as Mackenzie House, and now it is called Diamond Heritage 16 Strand Road at the crossing of Strand Road and Fairley Place. When we started to do, there wasn't much heritage guidelines also. So today we have redeveloped it. The laws were also tough. It evolved with time. Maybe with us being one of the first large projects. So today we've had to make a lot of car parks. Unfortunately, a lot of those car parks have not got sold. But we made a building of 4 lakh square feet with 400 car parks. So we've got 6 levels of car parks, basement, ground plus 4. So redevelopment policy is actually a need of the hour, and we could benefit a lot from this.
Recently, a data revealed that more than 2,200 companies have been shifted out of the city of out of West Bengal. And few months back, the new form companies in West Bengal is at the lowest. So as an industry perspective, how do you see this trend? What is the discussion going among the industry that how will you face these challenges?
I'm not, because sometimes this, I'm not honestly familiar with this data, but, sometimes the data is a little misleading in the sense that, for example, each of us is real estate, developers have a few hundred companies because of the ULC laws which we, and from time to time when we are done with some of these projects, we do away with these companies. So some of that will eventually get caught as in your data from the ROC, etc., as companies being struck off, etc. But that does not mean that our business has, stopped or anything of that nature. From a real estate perspective, if like we spoke about some time back, the demand for office space has actually increased multifold. If we look at, and this is data which is available from every IPS, absolute numbers may be slightly different, but the trajectory is the same. And in the last 2 years post-pandemic, there has been at least a doubling of office space demand. The reasons are many. Work from home is something which we came to accept for the first time when pandemic happened. Very honestly, before pandemic, even a video call was something I was not very comfortable with. I was like, let's meet physically. The pandemic made us all comfortable with that. It made companies also forcibly comfortable with work from home. With that, suddenly, when employees moved back to cities, and Calcutta, for example, has a lot of people going and working in Bangalore and Hyderabad and other cities in the IT industry. The employees said, if I can work from home during the pandemic, why can't I work from an office in my home city? And that has brought back actually a lot of IT companies to come and either expand their office space here or take up fresh office space, saying that, I have a significant workforce from West Bengal. Can I create small office space of maybe 2-3 lakh square feet, 4 lakh square feet in Calcutta? And we've seen this play out. So very honestly, as far as industry data is concerned, or looking at, it is actually the other way around, where we've seen a significant jump in leasing. And I'm saying this as candidly as I can because this is data which is available and you can look at any IPS data.
Absolutely. In fact, for the pandemic has been the biggest boom for Calcutta. As Apurva said, all these employees, when they came back, they said the concept of work from hometown came in instead of work from home. So they have to go to office maybe twice or thrice a week. That's it. So why stay in Bangalore, pay rent, then why not stay in your hometown and work from here? It has been a boom actually.
And let me tell you, since we operate in Bangalore, Hyderabad as well as about 13-14 years ago when I moved to Calcutta, the cost of office in terms of lease cost was marginally different. In certain cases, Calcutta was slightly more expensive. Today, a Bangalore and a Hyderabad for a comparable office space is between 2.5 to 3 times the rent. The cost of living and salaries of the employees are also significantly higher. So today we are actually seeing, because of this gap which has emerged, that people are now, the gap is significant enough for companies to kind of come back and say, maybe we want to have some operations here. It's not because this cost is not the only factor which is deciding your office location, but it is reason enough to say that can we bring some of our office space back, because our workforce, anyway, a lot of the workforce is going from this part of the country.
Thank you.
I'll just respond to that. So this was actually a parliamentary question. So it doesn't give any raw data, like what is the size of those companies. And I can just share a minute to tell you about the developments taking place in our state. I think at least we have 3 data centers under construction. There may be more, I'm aware of 3. There are GCCs here which have started. Then there is a semiconductor unit by one of the largest US companies, which has recently tied up to come in Calcutta. So let me assure you, it's on real estate side, it's a very vibrant city and vibrant state, and let us take that message all across India. Thank you.
I think that is one of the biggest, the negative publicity happens more for Calcutta than the positive news which goes out of the city.
Actually, it is very heartening to hear all the panelists. It is really relieving for us that, yes, we have hopes for West Bengal, for our state, and we should be hopeful, be positive. Now, I just was thinking that since you are talking so much positive about the real estate sector as well, it is growing so good, and even in our state as well. But you have not spoken anything about the regulatory side. Regulatory side, taxation, or for that matter, accounting, or any regulatory means compliances perspective. From that perspective, do you find that the real estate sector is facing any challenges or any hindrance, or are you happy with that, with the environment, or you expect something more from the government side?
We have to be very careful when we are talking in front of our teachers. तो रेगुलेशन के बात में आप लोगों से साथ बात करने में हम लोगों को बहुत घबरा के बात करनी पड़ती है. See, but the reality is that GST on the indirect tax side, for good or for bad, has simplified and unified the tax structure. And given what happened in the last few years, which is the stoppage of input credit and lowering of the final output tax, on a day-to-day basis, it has actually become much simpler. The customer, for the customer also, there is a one-time, upfront single thing. There is no question of any input. What is the number which will come as input, which has to be passed on, etc. If at all, of course, it was a transient clause, not a permanent clause. I think while it has simplified things, the other challenge is that it has added to the cost, because we were a value-added tax system. That value-added tax system has kind of gone away. Everything is added to our cost, and we are charging the customer an additional, 5% in our case on the resi. So cost has gone up, and we, as CREDAI, often kind of discuss this. And the reality is that in cities with much higher price points like Bombay, and now I must say Gurgaon, because that has also joined that same club, it sometimes is suitable because the land component is much higher. And in our cases, where the housing is much broader and luxury housing is a smaller market, it sometimes the end customer ends up paying a higher cost. So we would like at some point for us, each project, to have an option to maybe choose one of the two, whether to go in for an input or thing, because for the government, it should be indifferent on both. The rates can accordingly be different on both these options. And the other area which I think it's a subject of today's conference, which is joint development agreements. I think most of the complexity on GST is sitting in that quadrant. So I think we look forward to hearing from the panel later today on that.
There has been a recent Supreme Court ruling on GST for malls. So for malls, commercial spaces, hotels, warehousing, this is a very important thing. We hope the department will come out with a clarification as to which way the industry should take, because 18% GST for construction of malls or IT parks or hotels or warehouses is a lot. And so once this clarity comes, it would be very good. So I just await that. And I look at this order in a positive manner.
So, we were talking about the challenges from the regulatory side, but we must also recognize the impetus we get from the regulatory side. I'll give you an example. The last budget, the last budget from the income tax side now, they have equalized all the asset classes. So, I think all of us will realize in the coming times that it's made investing into real estate more attractive, because the time period and the rates are now same for all asset classes. So traditionally, Indians have invested in real estate. So now from the taxation side, it has become more attractive.
I think we'll close this session now. Thank you, panelists.
The optimism shared by our panelists highlights the potential for the development in our state of West Bengal. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call CA Nitin Daga to offer formal vote of thanks.
Before we proceed further, I'd like to take this moment to invite CA Shivani Agarwala ji, General Secretary, ACAE, and request her to come up on the dais. She's the first Indian woman to win 6 gold medals in International Kettlebell Sports World Championship. She's an only Indian to be awarded the Certificate of Masters of Sports rank for this achievement. She is the only woman athlete to get the prestigious title of Master of Sports. She is the winner of the Pride of Bengal 2022 award in the Young Achievers in Sports category. She is recognized by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji for her achievements. She is a practicing chartered accountant and she is also a TEDx speaker. She was awarded by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India as Top 40 Finfluencers of India. I request everyone to kindly give a round of applause. I'd now like to request our guest of... I'll request the panel to... I would like to request our...
So this is something that is, we all have seen, it's one of the unique achievements of Shivani that we have seen. So something very special we will have to do for her. So we all have mobile phones. So please take out your mobile phones. Switch off. No, not switch off. So please put on your torch that we have. And this is just to show that we all are with you, Shivani. And you represent all of us on the World Forum. Thank you so much. We are all proud of you. Thank you.
I'd now like to request our guest of honor, Mr. Sushil Mohta ji, President TEDI West Bengal, and CA Tarun Kumar Gupta ji, President ACE, to kindly come forward for the felicitation of Shivani Agarwala ji for securing gold for India in snatch with 864 repetitions, becoming India's first CMS athlete in marathon sport format in snatch. Thank you. Thank you. I'll now request CA Nitin Dagaji to kindly propose a formal vote of thanks to our panel.
I'd just like to say something.
Yeah, sure.
I know this is out of place. I wasn't offered to speak, but I'll still take the opportunity to speak. And I just wanted to say thank you to ACA and to everyone who's present here. This gold is very, very important for me. I'm a practicing chartered accountant, and to think outside the realm of profession and to pursue your passion. I'm not going to say it's been easy, but it's going to be something that's always going to be special in my heart. And the one person I really want to take an opportunity to thank, two people in fact, actually three. One is our president's father, Shri C.S. S.M. Gupta. He's been my forever mentor, and he's guided me in my journey more than my parents could have. So in absentia, but I would like to convey my heartfelt thank you to Uncle for being my guiding light forever. Second, our past president, C.A. Sumit Binani. He has been that one man who cheered the loudest for me when no one was watching. And for that, Sumit, I'm forever grateful to you for recognizing that it takes a lot to be an athlete. So thank you for that. And my friend Rohit, who's not here again, who's held my hand through this journey and who's made me realize that it's very important to have true friends around who just make life easy. Last but not the least, ACE is home turf for me. To everyone who's present here, all the past presidents, Arun sir, who fondly calls me the golden girl of India, everyone on the dais, off the dais, thank you so much for being a part of my gold. It's truly special to me. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Shivani, for making us all proud. We all are very proud of you. Now, coming to the session, thanks a lot, the learned dignitaries and the moderator for a wonderful session. Early morning, we also got to know about the Acae of India in the real estate, and we all learnt about the fact that redevelopment is the need of the hour, and real estate segment is not just about building houses, but it's more about building the nation. So the contribution of real estate segment in the times to come will always be a very important phase of the India's growth platform. So with these words, I would like to thank on behalf of ACAE and CREDAI, our learned dignitaries, Mr. Ashok Sarafji, Mr. Vivek Kajaria ji, Mr. Apurva Salarpuria ji, and our moderator, Mr. Parvez Khalid ji, for sharing their valuable insight and future of real estate business in India. Thanks a lot.